All right, here's an article from Fortune. It says that Queen Elizabeth II just died. Here's what would happen to a $500 million fortune. Queen Elizabeth II died on Thursday at the age of 96 at Balmoral Castle, her home in Scotland. Her Majesty leaves behind over $500 million in personal assets from her 70 years on the throne, which Prince Charles will inherit when he is crowned king. Though that may seem straightforward, the Queen's fortune and what happens to it now is complex. Much of what seems to be owned by her actually belongs to the so-called royal family, the royal firm. $28 billion empire members of the British royal family like King George V and Prince Philip, once referred to as the family's business. Here's a breakdown of what will happen with the Queen's fortune now that she has died. How does the Queen get paid? The Queen received income through taxpayer fund known as the sovereign grant, which is paid annually to the British royal family. It originates from an agreement made by King George III to surrender his income from Parliament in order to receive a fixed annual payment for himself and future generations of the royal family, originally known as the Civil List. It was replaced by the sovereign grant in 2012. This grant amount was set to just over £86 million in 2021 and 2022. These funds are allocated towards official travel, property maintenance, and operating or maintenance costs of the Queen's household, Buckingham Palace. But the Queen doesn't just receive an annual salary. The royal firm, a $28 billion empire, the firm, also known as the Monarchy PLC, is a group of senior members and public faces of the House of Windsor, the reigning royal family that the Queen was the head of. Together, they operate what can be considered a global business empire that pumps hundreds of millions of pounds into the United Kingdom's economy every year through televised events and tourism. Her Majesty and 7 other royals are members of the firm. Prince Charles and his wife Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall, Prince William and his wife Kate, the Duchess of Cambridge, Prince Anne and the Queen's daughter, and the Prince Edward, the Queen's of youngest son, and his wife Sophie, the Countess of Wessex. The monarchy holds nearly $28 billion in real estate assets as of 2021, which cannot be sold. According to Forbes, that includes the Crown Plaza, $19.5 billion, Buckingham Palace, $4.9 billion, the Duchy of Cornwall, $1.3 billion, the Duchy of Lancaster, $748 million, Kingston Palace, $630 million, the Crown Estate of Scotland, $592 million. Though the family doesn't personally profit from the business, the purpose is to boost the economy, which can in turn provide wealth to the Windsor through free media coverage and royal warrants, essentially stamps of approval on high-end products, Forbes reports, which boosts revenue for holders of the warrant. The Crown Estate is a collection of lands and holdings belonging to the British monarchy, which was held by Queen Elizabeth II. But this isn't private property she owned herself. It is run by a semi-independent public board. In June, the Crown Estate announced a $312.7 million net revenue profit for the 2021-2022 financial year, $43 million more than the year before. Wow. In what has been another year of change and disruption, our diverse portfolio continues to demonstrate its strength and resilience through our return to the public purse, Dan Lambert, Chief Executive of the Crown Estate, said in the announcement. The funding for the sovereign grant comes from a percentage of the profits of the revenue, which was initially set at 15% according to the royal household. The grant was increased in 2017-2018 to 25% to support the refurbishment of Buckingham Palace, and is supposed to be reduced back to 15% by 2028. The grant is used to pay off official expenses, including payroll for staff, security, travel, housekeeping, maintenance. But the private expenses of the Queen and her extended family are paid for through in separate allowances called the privy purse. The privy purse The Queen's private purse is essentially a portfolio of properties and assets that have been held in trust dating back to the 14th century, which provides private income to the Majesty from the Duchy of Lancaster. At the end of March 2022, the Duchy of Lancaster had 652.8 million of the net assets under its control, delivering a net surplus of 24 million. These take the form of property and financial assets, says as the statement on the Duchy of Lancaster website. The net assets are paid directly to the Queen, but the 24 million in assets funds are the funding is taxed and is used mainly to cover expenses now already covered by the sovereign grant. Majesty personal assets. The Queen has accumulated over 500 million in personal assets, largely due to her investments in arts, collection, jewelry, and real estate holdings, which include the Sandringham House, the Balmoral Castle, according to Business Insider. Now that she's died, most of her personal assets will be passed down to Prince Charles when he takes the throne. Your Majesty also inherited nearly 70 million from the Queen Mother when she died in 2002, including investment in paintings, a stamp collection, fine china, jewels, horses, and even a valuable for birds egg collection. Paintings in the collection include works from Monet, Nash, and Carl for Burge. There's a special legal clause in the place that exempts the Queen from paying inheritance tax on estates left by her mother. This clause will apply to Prince Charles too. Inheritance from sovereign to sovereign is exempt from the 40% inheritance tax, as was agreed with the former Prime Minister John Major in 1993 to avoid the erosion of royal family's wealth. But Prince Charles still doesn't directly inherit the 28 billion empire, which includes the estate of Scotland, the Crown Estate, the Duchy of Lancaster, the Duchy of Cornwall, the Buckingham, the Kingston Palace. He will only receive the personal assets specifically designated to him by Queen Elizabeth II. The end. All right, so the question of the hour, the $1 million question. Everybody want to know who will become the next heir to the throne. So here it goes. And I know a lot of y'all want to know, because a lot of y'all want to know, will Meghan Markle ever become a queen? No matter what she become the queen of, we just want to know, will she ever become the queen? And here we go. So Queen Elizabeth II, her eldest son, who is now King Charles III, was the heir to the throne before her passing. So now that he is king, his eldest child will become the first heir to the throne, and then his second child, and then his third child, and then after that it will be Prince Harry's next to heir, which will be at number 5. Prince Harry is number 5 in line to heir to the throne. Prince Harry is the husband to Meghan Markle. For any of you all out there that want to know, any of you all that had questions, didn't understand how it go, because I have heard a lot of people say that Prince Harry will be next to the throne, but that's not how it goes. It doesn't go in order like that. It goes in order of the first child and then their children, the immediate children. That's how it goes. And then it'll go back up to the next son or the next daughter. Yeah. All right, here goes another nugget for another note. All of you all, I like to do what you call did you know? So did you know that allegedly back in 1968, Queen Elizabeth II purchased land in Mississippi? Yeah, down here in the deep rural South, over in Bolivar County. And it was a plantation, a cotton plantation, of course. And it went under fire. It went under scrutiny for I don't know, was it just the lack of compensating its employees or what? But because the abolishment had already happened like almost 100 years before that. So I'm not sure exactly the allegations that came against them, but the Queen was like, she didn't want no part of it, so she sold it. But yeah, Did you know that? Well, now you know. I'm a determined black man, John Jay. I hope that all of y'all stay up, stay good, stay humble. And I'm out. One.